All right, good evening, guys. Kenneth Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for July 17th, 2023. The reports will come out shortly after we finish here. Had to reset the database. Start with the hybrid swing portfolio, 30-minute charts beginning with Alcoa. I posted some speed runs today and sniper trades of the day on the shorts channel. You should listen to those. Alcoa. So we took the SSC. I want you to notice a harsh winter, a crossover into spring, entering the Red River, PSAR flip. That's the criteria to get into a good trade. It's in play. Standard risk of execution to the bottom of the dragon. You could also use the PSAR. It rolls over. I take the dragon, exit, 2R. Notice that this has come all the way through the Red River and is starting to compress. So enough is enough. AI, same trade. $30-minute chart. Caterpillar, same trade, still holding it, holding 1R. Cliff Natural Resources, holding half an R. Caught it 2. CVS, tried the collapsing dragon short. This had rolled over. PSAR flipped. Probably could have gotten it here. Probably would have scratched. I let it R10 wiggle and turn to the winter. It reversed right away. Took half an R loss. Dish. Covered the short from yesterday. This was the collapsing dragon. Dragon exit. 4R. Devon Energy, we took the short yesterday on the collapsing dragon with standard risk. It closed poorly. Today it opened, continued to go down. It mucked around. I took the dragon exit, the second dragon exit. For second position scratch, this one returned 3R. Electronic Arts, I closed this position. It was just getting too much to bear. That felt like we'd gotten everything out of it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And except for this big run up. Now, if I exit that in the first day in here, it's the same trade. And why tempt fate? Gave it 4 more days to do something, and it never did. Now that I've exited, it should be ready to go tomorrow. This one was tempting for an end of the day. But this thing can be gappy, as you see here too. And so I'm going to set that up as a breakout for tomorrow. I want to see it start moving when I have some... when I can make a decision. Ethereum. So this was a great intraday trade. Just not on the short side, because you can't short Ethereum. Or ETHE, I mean. So no swing trade. EWW, I tried the collapsing dragon. This went all the way down, came all the way back up, started to roll over again. So I took it short, and I should have gotten out here at the dragon exit for 1. I had a belief that it could fail, and so I took a no lose plus dinner for 2 instead of a 1R, just trying to hold on for a little more, but no. Brazil, on the other hand, this is a 1, 2, 3 entry. 1, 2, 3. Standard risk, and closed at the top of the day, and that's holding plus 2. and ready to go to the 5-day high tomorrow. Intel, this was a short from yesterday, which closed well. Today, gapped up and then started to take off, so I took the PSAR exit for about 1/2 an hour, and that was a stop and reverse on a COTA 2. When it cleared, took the emerging dragon second position. It closed well. We're holding about 3R on 2 positions. IP, short on the collapsing dragon at about 1/2 an hour. IYR, no trade. I'll be ready for a collapsing dragon tomorrow. Regional banks started the COTA 2, holding 1R. Mattel initiated on the double bottom. And holding support, and a PSAR flip, treating that as a COTA 2. Failure to fail twice after this nice long run up. And we're holding about 0.5. Looking for the 10-day high. McDonald's tried the COTA 2 long, settled for a no lose plus dinner for 2, missed the short. That looks promising on the short side for tomorrow. Let's see if there's momentum. I think it's in play tomorrow. This is Mattel. So took the collapsing dragon today as it turned into the winter. And holding +1. Microsoft COTA 2 on like a 1, 2, 3 entry. It's at scratch right now, but I like the power of this longer term. The techs weren't bad today, so if the semiconductors can give a boost, I think that has a chance to go tomorrow. Marijuana. Collapsing dragon took the 1-day gift. This thing is kind of gappy, and so I didn't want to think about it overnight. So it had crashed here in the last 30 minutes and then rebounded, so I just took it here for 1, 2, 3, 4. This was the last place it held support, so I didn't want to be holding that one short overnight, especially with 4 in hand. NVIDIA initiated the COTA 2 on a 1, 2, 3 entry after it breached through the dragon, holding 2R. So another tech that closed well. I took the 1-day gift on PBW, so we were short this one on the collapsing dragon, and then it gapped up and started to break, so we just took +2, gave back 2 by holding it overnight. So stop and reverse, and peaked at the spot you would expect it to. So we collected 1, 2, 3. Rivian tried the collapsing dragon short for a scratch. The S&P had a nice strong day today, although it did give back in the last 30 minutes, but it made a new 30-day high. Treasuries trying to make some noise on a COTA 2, no trade. Tesla, I played the gap and go because it was above the emerging dragon. It ran all the way up and then ran all the way down. It remembered to scratch it. Missed this. When it came back to here, I just re-entered the trade, and we're holding +1. U.S. Steel, COTA 2, and took half an hour. Here are some sniper trades of the day. So this one was right from the opening. So this is the open. And I'm on 1 minute charts on this one. Ethereum was in a critical state. It had a 2.5 to 1 reward to risk ratio. The R10 is 11 cents. So at the open, when it breached the PSAR flip, and I took the second bar entry. Now 11 cents from, this is 11.36, so 11.25 is about here, a little bit off the chart. So if you were playing the R10, your risk box would be that big. I took a PSAR execution risk, which is 5 cents of execution. So if this violates this price, right? So this is the price that gets me out. Nothing in here gets me out, because that's noise, because that's in the dragon. The first price that gives me new information is the bottom of the PSAR, and that's equal to a 0.5 loss, because I'm using the R10 MMRB, which is 11 cents, which is down here. But my execution risk is only 0.5. So I just leave it alone until it violates the PSAR dot. But it didn't. Right here, I moved my stop to no lose plus dinner for 2. It rose up to here. I locked in this piece. It made another little move, but starting to run out of steam. So I locked in 1.6R because I'm above the peak of the RL10. My next two targets, going back another hump, this is the hump of the dragon and the hump of the RL10. That's my next two targets. This thing ran up in here and about 2 minutes later exited for a 2R win. I'm not exiting inside the body of the dragon. This is from Trader X, who was working on EWW. He had a PSAR flip. This is the, let's see, again, this is 11 cents on the R10. And so he decided to use the wider stop, which is the execution risk of the dragon. Could have also used the PSAR flip, but this is the R10. That's too close. That you can't exit. You cannot exit here because you're in the noise. So you go to the first place where there is information value, which is either the belly of the dragon or the PSAR flip. So he buys it. 2R battle drill, second position. This was a reasonable exit. It held. He exits here on the collapse. And the first position gets 1, 2, 3. Second position gets 1, 4R. This is AI. This is a 3-minute chart, if I recall. Let's see. No, that's 1 minute chart, sorry. So here is a PSAR flip, an SSC entry coming through into the, out of the Red River. So I take a standard risk to the bottom of the dragon for execution. It moves in my favor. When it clears all this, I'm at 2R, add a position, standard exit at the PSAR flip. So risking 1, making 3. Double bottom, PSAR flip, standard risk, no lose plus dinner for 2. R10 wiggle, second position, standard exit, locking in an extra 1. This was a scratch. This one earns 1. So total about 5R. Notice the run is done. Notice when it comes out of the Red River, that's the exceptional information. think that was everything I wanted to show on that. Yep, that's everything I wanted to cover on that. Check the traders. Constantine, the dollar yen 3-minute. Note the move to an exceptional low. PSAR flip, tight risk. One position, it rolls over, comes back. He exits for 11R. One position. Find the movers. Let's see, who's this? Agnieszka, welcome back. So, the dollar Swiss, range compression, PSAR flip, standard risk box, exits for 2.5. Here's a COTA 2, which would have been useful. She chases and then sensibly just takes half an hour loss. So 2.5 and minus 0.5 for 2R. This is Brian. Harsh winter, reverses, enters the Red River. PSAR flip, all day right there. And that doesn't fail. Then when you get this favorable excursion and it starts to fail, just take the drag and exit. Nice re-entry, got paid. Nice re-entry, good cut, good cut. Total 0.15. Oh, this should have been a favorable trade. That's right. You got this one instead of that one. That made the difference on the day. Sorry. Brazil. Make that a red. I thought you were going long here, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why. But that should be red because you're going short, and then gets a fractional. That's probably a fail stat. And if you make this in your mind, this gap down, this gap, come on, dummy. This gap down is a big red candle. And then sells off to here. And you get this trade. That's starting to look like a morning hook and a 1, 2, 3 entry. And then you could exit here and get paid. I like this. There's nothing wrong with that. He took the fractional loss. Gave it plenty of time to work. And it just didn't follow through. Tries the OR3 breakout, loses one, gets paid on the reversal. This bottoms out. Here's a 1, 2, 3 entry about here, which would scratch. This is the PSAR flip, which takes a 1 hour loss. Hey, put this stop at below the VWAP for a 1.0. I shouldn't be exiting in the middle of the river for a -1. Just, if the box is that small, the box is too small. Take it down to here and take the wider stop that is logical. Yeah, there may have been some entries in here. Just in time to enter in the chop. Then stop and reverse. Or when it violates the VWAP, now you get this trade instead of a scratch. 2 reasonable shots. Now that you got the Z3 pinch, there's a possible entry, although I had stopped trading by this time. So -3.5. Merck was -1.1. OR3 could have been there. I like the continuation. Good cut. I like going long right there. I like getting short there. He stays out of the chop. He does get this. It didn't follow through. Follows up. Gets it done. That's not bad. We might be able to get that. There's a span of control issue of how many you want. Or just, don't take the ones you see and don't worry about the other ones. 3.2 or no 5.8 in AMD OR3 crushes it. PSAR flip, long second position, potential second entry here above this peak and a new high of the day, which would have added some juice, and then nice trade management in here. So that brings everything back. Now he's positive for the day. Found the mover. And 5.7 on Alcoa on a single position. This would be fine in the mover. Tries short, fails, stops in reverse, caught a 2 re-entry. When this shelf breaks, I think this would be a more reasonable, because this whole shelf locks you in above the high of the day. I like the entry here better, although that's possible too, and that's possible too. But great exit, 5.7. Great self-coaching. Noticing the feeling of the Z3 lines expanding as this thing is marching, and then the power of the VWAP just to give you market direction. That was buying pressure on heavy volume all day. All right, I want you, let's see, I gotta zoom this back a little bit. All right, I want you to start drawing this line straight up into here. This is where we should be entering and use the PSAR flip as your risk box. It never came close to that. And then your PSAR is good. That's one trade. When this one rolls over and enters the drag, if you're around, here's. There's no information content in here. Those exits are all inside the dragon. And these are losing 0.6 and 0.7. So that is way too tight. Like if you're going to take this one, your stop should be here for 1.0. If that's the MMRB, it's too tight. Take the wider stop or go all the way to the bottom of the RL10 so that you're not second guessing yourself. Now if you take that, instead of minus 0.8, that's a minus 0.1. Because you're grinding yourself with these way too tight stops. That's a good long. That's a good long, but even here, this should be a 0.2 loss instead of 0.6. And now by this time, you're exhausted mentally, and we don't take the trade. Now you're marking these up. I want you to do something with it. That's such a clear signal. It had, look at this. I mean, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 36 minutes. It couldn't break out of what was previously resistance. And now it PSAR flips and crashes. Big old wrist box up there. You know, here's something that I want you to think about too. How about if you just use the range stat as your intraday 1.0 risk, and then just use the PSAR flip as your exit. So you could be short here. Your range stat risk box is way up here. So even if you take that, it's a minus 0.2. And then if you get this one, it's a plus 0.4. But you're not even tempted to get out of that. And then you have a kata 2 here, and your stop should be at the bottom of the RL10 for execution. And then make that your entry, and then drop a range stat all the way down here to be minus 1. See if that changes your psychology. Because if this standard exit would be a minus 0.2, then you would not be tempted to be exiting inside these little spaces inside the dragon. Let it actually give you a price signal that it's failing. And then if you don't take this one, you could certainly take that one because you got the pinch, and now it's starting to expand, and there's your Z3. We should be taking that one and the second position there. Yeah, so like here's the range stat in Tesla. Just let that be your risk 1.0, because you're not going to let it, like if you were going long, you wouldn't let it go that far against you, so you're never going to take a 1.0 loss. And now, even if you don't get the OR3, and you see this, and you see this, I should be getting short on this so fast, right here. And your execution stop could be here. Now look at the size of this wrist box compared to the PSAR. It's like it's about that big. That would be about a minus 0.3. If it didn't work, that would be a minus 0.3 instead of this being a minus 0.7. So you're rushing. Just reduce the amount of trading, use that much wider stop for your risk manager. Remember, your risk manager doesn't care about the reward. As long as your reward manager says, hey, there is a reasonable move to the downside, and then the risk manager just picks a number that says 1.0. Why is that? Fuck. Damn it. Okay. All right, that's everything we got for today. I'll get the reports published and pushed to you shortly. A lot of good shorts published today, intraday. There's a couple in-stride speed runs that are uploaded that'll take you a minute to listen to on the shorts playlist on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I took one. I did a speed run at 11 o'clock this morning, and then one at the close. Yeah, Greg. Same patterns. It's just that what we're doing is we're trying to hurry up and make that risk box as small as we can, and then we're not even letting it execute at 1.0, so we're exiting inside the noise. Just give that a shot.